Hola Bandidos, ¿cómo estamos? Welcome to Mel's Magic Official. I am Magic Mel and this is Owl, my spirit guide. Welcome to episode numero uno of season 8. I can't believe it. I don't know what happened to season 7, but it flew by. I guess it's synchronized with just a general acceleration of energy. Can you feel it too? Literally, it feels like that. It feels like arriving. I had a coaching session this morning with my peer coach who's offering to give me coaching, and it's amazing. And we spoke for 2 hours, and the 2 hours flew by. The explanation is apparently when there is a high vibrational exchange of energy, time speeds up. That's why, when we're having a bad time or when we're stuck somewhere and it sucks, time just drags on. But if we're having a good time, i.e., joy, fun, high vibration, then it goes boom, super fast. And I found it interesting because we hadn't spoken for 2 weeks. And as we were catching up, we realized that we had gone through a similar process, that we had arrived at similar conclusions. And that confirms to me that the personal is universal. We're not alone in our own processing. That's why I always ask you, let me know if it resonates, because I do feel that we're going through similar experiences, similar challenges, similar transitions. Maybe they're customized to your specific situation, but the lesson essentially is the same. And at the moment, I feel the lesson is to arrive. I shared with you how I was in an internal conflict of releasing a pattern in me that was trying to coerce me into doing something that I no longer wanted to do. And I just said it. I had to ask myself deep down, why? What is the reasoning? Why don't you? It seems practical to my rational mind. So my rational mind asked another aspect of mine that was in resistance, why do you no longer want to do this? And the deeper soul aspect of me said, because I do not want to. And I was like, can that be enough? Do I grant myself permission for it to be a reason enough, simply that I do not want to do it? As the more I relax and ease into letting go and releasing and calming my nervous system to feel safe in resting, in doing less, in being present, in just sitting with myself and not doing for the sake of doing, the more I train my nervous system to feel safe in those states, the more I can receive and the more I can let go. And I feel the universe has been dishing up opportunities and options to me in the past months to check if I settle for less, if I settle for mediocrity, if I settle for the familiar, or if I choose the new, the unknown, the uncertainty, the aliveness. Because the aliveness lies in the uncertainty. The familiar feels safe temporarily simply because it's familiar. So I had a conversation with myself and I dialogued with my fears. And I just came to the realization I don't want to do things that I don't want to do. And it seems so obvious, doesn't it? But how often do we coerce ourselves? Do we rationalize ourselves to doing things that we don't really deep down want to do? Where our energy is split, where we have to push and force and convince ourselves to do something. And I'm happy because the deeper or more expanded version of myself doesn't play along with that version of me anymore. It's like I cannot coerce, I cannot force myself to do things anymore, which in the past I was able to force myself into. And the reasoning of my rational mind no longer convinces the soul aspect of me to play along with it. Like, it's not worth me getting exhausted for the sake of earning money. It's not worth me risking or jeopardizing my sense of peace for a sense of belonging, temporary belonging, partial belonging. Because if I'm not actually seen in my totality, the belonging to a certain group or the belonging to someone is not complete. And that no longer satisfies me. The basic question I ask myself nowadays is, does it satisfy you or not, Magic Mel? And if it doesn't, in the past, I would settle for that. Yes, but. Yeah, it's not quite right, but. And I would fill in the blank with my justifications of my ego mind, my ego patterns. But nowadays, it doesn't cut it anymore. It either fulfills me completely at a soul level or it doesn't. It's quite simple. And not even my fears can convince me and push me in their direction. And honestly, it feels liberating. Because I also asked myself, well, if this fear is occupying so much of my mental space, who am I without the fear? Who am I without the story that is spinning around the fear, that is projecting into the future? And I noticed that the more I release and the more I surrender, the more I relax, the more fluid I become, the more adaptable, the less attached I am to things, situations, people, goals even. And it feels liberating. It feels so much smoother than to be rigidly and stubbornly attached to my old patterns and to an old version of myself. And it's interesting because as I move about in the 3D world, I encounter people and I realize that some people still see me for a previous version of myself. And I can still pull that aspect out of myself. I can still play that role. But I also step out of myself and observe myself. And I chuckle at myself because I realize I'm no longer that version that they see in me. I'm something different, a more expanded being, state of being. And the general sensation I get is literally that of a sigh of relief, a letting go, a more effortless, easeful way of going about things. And it's interesting because the small things that used to stress me out in the past, that used to trigger me, that used to trip me up, they still happen, but they no longer bring out that reaction out of me, that stressful, frightful reaction. I just go, oh well, shit happens to everyone. Doesn't it? Because I know deep down it no me sirve. It's not worth my energy to inject all of this reactionary energy into a situation. It's just too tiring, too exhausting. And that is another thing that I'm no longer willing to go into is exhaustion. I no longer buy into the mindset that life is difficult, that life needs to be hard, that I have to struggle, that I have to fight for it, that I have to force things, that I have to try harder. I'm tired of that. And in the past week, my ego was still trying to get a reaction out of me. It can't be that easy. Are you becoming lazy? You can't just do nothing. You have to do something. You have to try harder. But the more I disengage with those voices, the easier it becomes to disidentify and to release them, to choose differently, because there's always a choice. Do I engage or do I detach? And the more I detach, the easier it becomes, thankfully. So my coach and I, we came to the same conclusion. Alice and I, we had gone through similar experiences in the past 2 weeks. It's crazy. And it comes down to worthiness. Because a big part of grasping and striving and running after and forcing and coercing comes from a sense of lack, that I'm not enough, that I have to try harder. And I'm so done with that. I don't need to prove my worthiness to anyone anymore, not even to myself, especially not to myself, because nobody out there really is enforcing anything onto us. It's an internal battle, us versus us, me versus me. And that voice in me that used to beat me up and tell me that that I'm simply not good enough. I don't believe that voice anymore. I'm reclaiming my power and I'm saying, what if, pourquoi pas? What if I am good enough? What if I have everything that I need? What if I already am, and that I don't need to move forward to something or become something in the future? What if I just pull back my power into the present moment and say it's all done and act from that state of being? I mean, that's literally shifting everything at the moment. And I'm feeling the sense of ease in contrast to the constant striving and exhaustion of the past, because I used to drive myself so hard. And then pick myself up again. And even these days, I acquire something, I acquire my juicer, the juicer is here, and then what? It's like the ego is like, okay, I'm gonna get this thing. And then once you get it, it's like, okay, now what? Another thing. And I'm so tired of that. I'm like, I don't even want things anymore. I mean, I do, but I don't even want to run after them anymore. I'm like, bring it on. Let it come to me. How about that for a change? Our mind likes to project the worst case scenarios. If you don't do this, then this will happen. Oh, really? Is it really so? I don't think so. Like today, my day went completely off course. I went to my belly dance because my belly dance just opens all of the chakras and it's just so liberating. And then I was supposed to stay for the next lesson, but I was like, I was too zoned out. I'm like, I just need to go maybe to the sea. And then it started pouring rain. I was stuck in this bar restaurant and I had a drink. And then I thought, fuck it, I'm just gonna eat here. And it started like pouring down, like gota fria tipo rain, torrential rain. And then I was looking out to the sea and I was watching the rain recede, the clouds move into the ocean. And I thought, and I said out loud, wouldn't it be nice to see a rainbow? And I kid you not, a few moments later, this most impressive rainbow appeared. One of those full arc ones, not just a segment, a full arc one in neon colors in contrast to the gray sky and a double rainbow on top of it. And the more I was praising, I was just like awestruck. I think I saw it before before other people that started to take pictures and everyone was taking pictures. But I just said, I looked at the rainbow and said, thank you. Like, oh my God, this is a moment of abundance. This is a moment of awe. This is a moment of sublime beauty. This is abundance. And I almost felt like the universe was orchestrating me to sit exactly at that spot, facing the sea, because the beginning of the rainbow was directly opposite me. It's crazy. And I didn't plan to go to that restaurant. I didn't plan to have dinner there, but I just kind of released all resistance and stepped out of my mind and just went to my body and said, okay, let's just follow our intuition. Let's just go somewhere. And my mind was saying, can you afford having dinner here? I'm like, oh my God, I'm not just splashing on money. I'm having one pasta dish. Relax. And when I saw the rainbow, I said, thank you. It's these serendipitous moments synchronized moments that remind me that there's something bigger at play here. If only we surrender into trust, if only we go with the flow of things. It was a bit like that rainbow in my painting, just real life with all the 6 colors and double against the gray sky. It was so beautiful. Literally, the police car also stopped, and I said, guys, this is the most beautiful rainbow I've ever seen in my entire life. It's the most perfect rainbow ever. I'm posting or I think I posted a partial photo of the rainbow in my community board on my channel, because I couldn't even step back that far to capture the entire thing, because it was like that. It was amazing. I was just like bowing down in gratitude. I said, thank you, God. Thank you. And that is abundance. That is privilege. That is I always ask myself, well, ¿qué más quieres? And of course, there's always more. There's more fulfillment. There's more desires. But I was so happy and content in that moment, a moment that cannot be replicated because it was so perfect in the unique orchestration of it. So I'm just asking myself, what if my goal is just to arrive, to constantly arrive, to no longer strive, but just to arrive constantly in the present moment and let it unfold. Relax into it, breathe into it, flow into it, arrive into it, from the chatter of the mind into the solidity and the presence of the body. Like an exhale. Releasing all that resistance and the tensing up. Because it's exhausting to tense up and to resist. And I'm happy that it's exhausting because I'm no longer willing to engage in that kind of state. It's just simply too tiring. That's it. So it's quite a peculiar way of starting episode season 8 of season 8. But hey, this is a constant unfolding and it's grounded in real experiences, guys. And probably going through something similar. Probably you're being asked or invited to or encouraged to release in the same way that I'm releasing. Maybe you're just as tired as me to fight against the current. Maybe you're just as curious as me and excited as me to see, well, what if instead of dreading and pushing against, I allow and I open my arms to receive. And I'm curious and excited. What if? Just imagine. So my modus operandi for the summer is I've decided to enjoy the summer. Because I realized the past 2-3 summers, I didn't really enjoy them. I was stressed out. So I'm granting myself the permission to enjoy the summer, just like all of the tourists who come here and all these holiday makers and visit all the bays and the calas and just ease into it. And who knows what will happen. When we ease into a more expanded state, we open new portals of opportunity because the opportunities are relative to our frequency. Lower vibration, lower opportunities. Different set of opportunities. Higher vibration, new timelines. So I'm rolling with the higher timeline. I'm rolling with the higher frequency. Simply because it feels lighter and easier. Really. And I'm tired of the struggle. I'm tired of my own struggle. It's as simple as that. Aquí estamos. Should we pull a card? Come on, let's pull a card. I wanted to pull a card. Aquí estamos. Estamos a martes 13. This is a bit of an ominous day. In Spain, it's not Friday 13th. It's actually Tuesday the 13th. That has a bit of an ominous vibe. And also today I realized I couldn't think straight. I had to go to the tax office. I didn't even know which documents to bring. I just brought a whole pile. I said, guys, help me out. I was going to say, since you're getting our money anyway, at least do some work. So they did the photocopies. I said, my brain is not working. You have to help me out here. But it's quite funny. So I've just been like in limbo state all day, but see things work out. Even when we don't force and curse things and control things. So, this is the Divine Feminine deck. The Divine Feminine energy is rising in general, whether you're male, female, trans, bi, it doesn't matter. The feminine energy is a type of energy, and it is the void. Because we come from the void and we return into the void. It's the Black Madonna, it's the mysterious, the dark feminine, which is not scary, it's literally just mysterious, beyond the rational mind. And the Divine Feminine energy is rising in all of us through our intuition, male or female, even especially, also us females. I was so in my masculine energy in the past. I had to reconnect with my own intuition. And you, regardless of your gender, you're asked to do the same, because the Divine Feminine rises through our intuition. And Mother Earth is pushing us to level up with her frequency, because Mother Earth is rising in her frequency. She's like, I'm not having this anymore. It's time to grow up. So, from the Divine Feminine deck, who of you Divine Feminines wants to connect with us and share your message and wisdom? Thank you so much. Connecting specifically with the Divine Feminine energies, all the goddesses. I love this deck because I don't know where the booklet went. In the booklet it says a whole background of each goddess with their historical background. It's fascinating. Like the lost goddesses who are returning. The goddess is calling in you and in me. Which brings me, 3 came out. Should we take 3? I'll talk a little bit about, no, it's too much. Wait, there's too many cards. It's 4. It's too many. Please, maybe 1 or 2 cards, Divine Goddesses. Okay, I'm running out of time here, guys. I want to keep it below 30 minutes. Because also my computer gets jammed and it takes forever to upload and all that stuff. There we go. I'm looking at the card upside down. Teresa of Avila. Can you see that, or should I see it better? Yeah. Teresa of Avila. I have to look at it though because I can't read it. Our Lady of the Interior Life. I trust the answers I find within me. I know that the presence of love is real. I love these sentences because they're like, I can go in all directions with them. They're so poetic. It does this. Teresa of Avila, Our Lady of the Interior Life. Aren't we all asked to look within, to distract ourselves less, and to reconnect with our true self, as cliche as that sounds, with our emotions, with our pain, to release it finally, and to raise our frequency, to connect with our core self and divine self, the higher self, God source. Aren't we all asked to do that one way or the other, to face ourselves, to connect with our interior life? I trust the answers I find within me. It really takes a leap of faith to trust ourselves, to trust that what we're feeling is real and valid, to trust that the answers that we're looking for outside will arise from within if only we dedicate ourselves some time and space to connect with ourselves. I know that the presence of love is real. I mean, that's really going back to basics. We come from love and we're going back to love. And love is the most powerful force in the universe. Love forgives. Love is compassionate. Love is courageous. Love is discerning. Love is action. Love is releasing. Love is... it's like right up there on the frequency scale, no? And compared to love, everything else is illusion. So the contrast to love, like the fear, the aggression, the rage, and love transmutes. Love is the elixir of alchemy from our lower vibrations and our stuck energies and our stuck emotions and our pain and our suffering. It's when we extend our loving compassion towards ourselves first and others that things alchemize and shift. And we can release and come back to the present moment. So, Teresa of Avila is encouraging us to go within, to trust that the dove of inspiration, insight comes when we look within, when we sit with ourselves, when we no longer escape ourselves, numb ourselves, distract ourselves. The time is now. Universe is not allowing us to carpet sweep anymore. So, Teresa of Avila is encouraging us to connect with her. You can connect with these goddesses, invoke them, to ask for strength, to ask for whatever it is that you feel that you want to develop. The gods and goddesses help us. There are divine aspects that we can connect to and that we can embody. Ask and you shall receive. So I had a technical glitch. I'm gonna paste this video together. Let me know how you're doing on your journey of releasing and liberating yourself and really easing into this present moment where suddenly time feels different because our energy is solid. If we're no longer split between the past and the future, like our energies diffuse, become a laser beam, a sword, a portal from the present moment into eternity, into all directions, but solid in the present moment. Where the stories don't work anymore, the egoic stories, the old identities, they don't seduce me anymore. Who am I without the stories? What is possible beyond the stories? I choose to surrender. And I ask the highest every day, keep me humble and help me to surrender, because I want to be of service and just be open. Be a tool, be a vessel for whatever wants to come through. I also told you that I don't rehearse any of these videos. I just kind of say, okay, I show up and then let it flow. And I know I'm not the only one talking about these things. There's so many of us, because so many of us becoming channels for higher consciousness because we surrender. And it just feels easier. At the bottom line is it feels easier and I'm enjoying it. So why go back to the struggle and the pain? Pain will arise anyway because we need pain as contrast. But the struggle and the extra suffering, the looping arrow that keeps on coming back and hurting us over and over, I'm done with that. I'm done with masochism and self-flagellation and beating myself up. No. I'm worthy for more ease and abundance and beauty and joy. Not in the future, but right here and right now. And so are you. And that's the note I want to begin season 8 of Mel's Magic Official. How about that? Guys, I'm going to leave you with that. Remember, I'm a coach. If you want any guidance, need any guidance, a container, a conscious container to transmute your own conflicts, to figure out what the next step towards your soul's calling is, to have somebody to reflect your own process back, to reflect your highest version of you back, c'est moi. And know that I'm a tarot reader. And if you comment on this video, up until Thursday, we're going to do this tombola, this lucky draw. If you comment the word magic in the comments box below, you're eligible for the lucky draw and winning a one-on-one reading with me, tarot reading. Okay, so for everything else, the details are in the description box below. And I look forward to stepping onwards on this epic journey with you together on board this flight of Mel's Magic Official. Sending you lots of love. Ciao, bandidos.